Welcome to the transmissions from Heart of the Hive. I'm Kat. I have my dear sister Sabrina here with me, and we have a very special conversation in a transmission today all around alchemy. Alchemy requires us to be more than anything, more than ever, in our bodies, because our bodies are the vehicles through which the process, the magic of alchemy takes place. So, as we get started on receiving the transmission from the bees, let's ground in our bodies together. If you're listening to this while driving or operating heavy machinery or doing dishes, don't close your eyes. Stay with us and stay in what you're doing. And if you have space at this moment to get centered, get grounded with us by closing your eyes, I invite you to do so, to find a comfortable place to sit, to allow the day to drift away and just be here now. Imagining that you are with us inside a golden hive. Seeing the golden honeycomb all around us, coming together to receive the gift of wisdom from the consciousness of the bees, feeling their presence, their energy around us, buzzing. And remembering that you are you in this body, and you're more than you. You are soul, spirit, all in one, in this beautiful body of yours, this temple. And allowing your jaw to relax, your shoulders to drop. Allowing the weight of your body to land on the earth. Feeling your feet on the ground, your root anchoring. And just taking a deep breath together in and out. It is safe to be here now. It is safe to be you. It is safe to allow yourself to be in this moment and receive, taking in only what's needed for your expansion, for your evolution, for your highest good, and letting the rest go. No judgment. And connecting to your heart, the great alchemizer of emotions. Taking a deep breath consciously into your heart space in the center of your chest. Expanding the center of love, center of consciousness, and exhaling out of it. Okay, Sabrina, what do the bees have for us today around the subject of alchemy?
Oh, so much. Thank you. That was beautiful. I could feel the honey within me warming. Ah, yes, welcome back, everyone. We have together in the hive been experiencing a lot of alchemy individually, collectively. We have been taking the nectar from our experiences and our lives and really truly transforming that. And it is such a natural process and also requires our active awareness and participation. And so, yeah, we're going to just go into, what the bees would like to share around that. And it's just fun and beautiful to see and model through humanity and the bees, the mirrors of what there is, because there is so much there. So, yeah, if we just go through life and we gather experiences and memories without recognizing the transformation that's happening within us from these experiences, which is truly, I believe, the gift. And we get to choose, right? How we look at that. We could have an experience that we may perceive may be, let's say, uncomfortable, or we may perceive it to be unpleasant. And without judgment, we also get to have an opportunity to gain a new perspective. Because truly, I believe, and the bees always reinforce that everything is happening truly for us. And it's really, again, up to us on whether or not we believe that, whether or not we like to see it that way, right? So we can choose to be a victim of our experience, or we can choose to be a receiver of the experience, a witness of the experience, and learn to work with it, to play with it, to co-create with it in awareness, and then allow it to pour the honey and into our lives and into our being. So the bee obviously gathers the nectar from many flowers, different places, different conditions, different experiences. And as so, we do the same. And it never looks the same. It's always a different and unique experience. And we get to gather this through our personal emotions, through all of our relationships, through joy, through the lessons, through confusion, through heartbreak. I mean, it comes in so many different forms. But truly, the bees teach us that nothing is ever wasted and that everything becomes a part of the material that we get to work with. So the transformation truly happens not on the outside, but really on the inside. Just as the transformation happens inside the hive when the bee brings the goods, we'll call them the goods, back into the home, right? And our physical vessel is our home. It becomes the honey inside the hive. And it really is transforming in stillness, in darkness, in the quiet, and I am hearing in the spaces in between. And I truly feel that, and we can tap into that through and alchemize through so many different ways and processes. And so there truly isn't, and what they're saying is it's really truly unique to everyone, right? And what feels good to you. But you can do it through journaling, you can do it through inquiry, you can do it through meditation, automatic writing, all the things. So I'm curious, Kat, if you would like to share if there is a particular process that you enjoy, or maybe there is just an example of something that you have alchemized recently that you would like to share.
Thank you, Sabrina. When you were talking, I was hearing, ask Sabrina to tell how bees make circles and then the heat turns it into hexagons. Can you tell that quick fun
Yeah.
fact about the honeycomb?
Yeah, actually, I just learned that the other day. I didn't realize. I thought they built the structures as the hexagon to begin with, but it turns out when they're building the honeycomb structure of the hive, it starts as circles. And then when they're beating their wings and they're all coming together and the hive is heating up, that is what actually melts it into the perfect sacred geometry of the hexagon. So I thought that was really beautiful. Thank you for that reminder.
Yeah, and it connects to what I wanted to share around this because so much of this journey we think we are on our own, right? And we do the inner inquiry, the contemplation, the automatic writing, the whatever in we can do it through movement, through whatever we're doing, right? We are trying to make sense of our life experience and all the things that unfold within it, right? It's to understand our reactions, to understand our patterns, the loops which are the ways we continue to respond in situations that are very similar unconsciously, right? Which as a result create an outcome and a reality that is programmed by this unconscious behavior. So we do a lot of this alone. But for me, since the hive has become the center of our little world, right? I'm seeing the power of the circle and the power of the circle for alchemy. And one of the visions that I received when we were starting this golden hive was that there would be these alchemy circles where you carry the pollen, the nectar, right? And you bring it to the circle. And by sharing your experience and by hearing somebody share their experience and seeing your reflection in theirs and them seeing you for themselves, it creates this collective alchemy in the circle, which allows, if we think about life as this force that moves through us, right, that is trying to experience itself through each one of us, as it does through the bees, it gives this full 360-degree view. So using example of relationships, it's this, if the circle is around relationships and alchemizing difficult, for example, resentment, right? Having that circle around resentment, allowing it to be alchemized on this collective level in the circle, then transforms resentfulness into its higher frequency, right? In this collective space, and transforms it into the sacred geometry. And again, it's everything is as above, so below. Everything is mirroring it within and without, because as you go through the inner alchemy process, you become lighter, freer. You liberate yourself from carrying something that doesn't belong there anymore, right? That is ready to be transformed, that is ready to be reinvented, known in a new way, seen fully, felt, and then transformed into a gift. And for me, the circle, the alchemy space of being witnessed by others, of coming and revealing yourself fully with your shame, with your guilt, with the resentment, whatever it is, allows for the alchemy to be so much more potent and the honey to be received and shared by all who are present. And the bees remind us that it is all about the circle. It is all about coming together with others and seeing yourself in each other all the time. Because we're just all mirrors on this journey of remembering, really.
That is so beautiful and resonant, and I am just like so grateful, and I just feel the warming in my heart to have such beautiful reflections in the hive and to have this space where we are able to do this together and in circle, because yeah, I didn't recognize or realize the power of that either. I mean, I have been doing a lot of this work alone in my cave at home for so very long with fear, shame, guilt, all of those feelings of like, you know, I mean, anyway. So I am, again, just so grateful for this space and this opportunity to learn from each other, to witness each other, to co-create together with the bees, with the wisdom of the bees, and each of our experiences and the wisdom that we carry from all of that we bring to these circles and to this space. So gratitude to all of you out there. Thank you so much. Oh, because, when we slow down, right, and we take that time to feel it deeply, to see it fully, to reflect on what it is showing us, and then to integrate that new wisdom, that new honey into our lives and beings. That's where we get to reap the rewards, if you will. But another thing that I was seeing, and they're reminding me again to say it, is when you were speaking, it was so beautiful. I could see all the sisters and all the bees linking together, holding hands, right? And sometimes we are in full closed circle, and sometimes we're not, right? We're open and we're this way and that way and and all different ways, but we're still connected, right? Not only energetically, but we get to come into connection in physical form as well. And so there is a lot of beauty and magic in all of it, in all the different ways we get to connect. But truly, inside the hive, there is that warmth, there is that pressure, right? But it's a gentle, loving pressure. There is the tending. And this is what truly turns that nectar into honey, right? We need all of these aspects. And we feel pressure in our lives in so many different ways, right? We can feel it through discomfort, through uncertainty, through grief that we're experiencing. But truly, it doesn't mean that anything is wrong, right? It's just that it's an invitation that we get to come into more refinement in that area, right? And I think so often, sometimes we want to escape those moments because they could feel uncomfortable. But truly, when we recognize that those are the very moments and experiences that are actually opportunities that are creating the gold, the honey for us, then we get to look at it in a whole new way. We get to approach it with a new energy and a new intention, right? And I know some people, including myself in the past, have been maybe uncomfortable with stillness, right? Sometimes, we live in a culture that can be a lot of go do. And so it's just a beautiful invitation to allow space to really come into that stillness, to do that deep listening, to be a part of that alchemical process in your intention and awareness and your full consciousness, right? Because we can do things on a surface level too, and then the bees are showing us that through spirals and through new experience and through repeat experience, we get the invitation to just continue to go deeper, right? We've talked about that before. So bees are also remind us to release resistance. A bee never resists the process, it totally trusts. And that is an invitation for us too, to continue to really trust in ourselves, to trust in creation, to trust in the process. And sometimes we can make it harder by trying to hold on to things that are maybe already ready to move or change, right? And when we resist, we know that can cause us to feel or remain stuck. And then it creates more tension in our bodies. And it just puts us in a delay, right? Because when nature wants to move, it's going to move. And it says, "Are you coming?" And we say, "No," or we say, "Yes, I'm coming," right? We get to open up to the possibilities without fear of, "Oh my gosh, what's going to happen?" or "I don't know," right? They invite us to sit with that. And it's okay to have some fear. It's okay to have some hesitation. It's okay to feel all the feels, right? But when we do soften, we allow that energy to move. And then through doing that, then the clarity comes in. And then through that, something totally new gets to form and take shape. And so I invite you to ask yourselves, what are you feeling that might be ready to transform, that maybe you weren't ready for yet? And when you feel that in your body, does that feel like tightness? Where do you feel that in your body? And once you discover that feeling and that place and that space within you, you can then say thank you. Thank you to that feeling, for it has been of service in some way, shape, or form until this moment. And then you get to choose consciously would you like to release it? Would you like to transform it? Or would you like to invite it to move or to stay? It's really, truly up to you. There is so much freedom in each and every choice and decision and moment. And that brings me to a fun experience that I'd like to share. I was doing, I don't remember if it was the dishes or the laundry, but I was just, doing something repetitive, which I was dropping into that space of just allowing. And what dropped in was I heard fleur-de-lis and the honeybee. I was like, oh, it rhymes. That's so, that's cute. I wonder what that's about. I don't really know much about the fleur-de-lis and that symbolism and things like that. So I allowed some space for a message to come through, which I'm going to share with you. And then I, after that, looked it up and found that there was actually quite a bit of really cool synchronicity and information there. So I wanted to share that as well. So yeah, the bee in this case would represent the process of the alchemy, and the fleur-de-lis symbolism, think of it as representing who we become through the process. So the alchemized version. The fleur-de-lis symbolizes refinement, purity, essence, and divine order. Not perfection, but essence. Feel that in your body. It's what remains when what is not truly you begins to fall away. It's your true essence, which gets to reveal itself in all new ways. And it becomes real when we start to live differently from this, right? Which could look like maybe we then start to speak differently. Maybe we set new boundaries. Maybe we start to trust ourselves more. Maybe we start choosing differently or showing up in a new way. The honey has to be used, right? We get to use it. How do we get to use it? How do we get to enjoy it, receive it fully within us? Our wisdom is meant to nourish us, and then it gets to eventually nourish others too. So with that, I would love to share the transmission about the bee and the fleur-de-lis. We, the bees, as solar emissaries, embody the essence of divine harmony. We radiate divine authority as a revered symbol of immortality. We bring divine order to sacred industry. We thrive in the sweetness of sacred community. The fleur-de-lis, a symbol of divine right and purity, is most historically tied to rules of royalty, as well as sacred femininity. The unity of three combined into one as Trinity. Behold the beautiful petals of the lily. We have the authority through rightful continuity to replace the old monarchy. Through sacred geometry and symmetry, we are efficiently balanced. Through patterns of divine intelligence, we organize in flow purposefully. Daring in our pairing, together we pollinate, create, and populate the world with our blooming manifestations. What a beautiful example of co-creation in pollination. We activate the template, the original blueprint of the fleur-de-lis and the sacred honeybee in divine design as a living reality, as we create and enjoy aligned, balanced, collective harmony. And just breathing fully, deeply, just noticing what feelings are stirring within you. What inside of you has been transforming, and what is beginning to emerge from this transformation? Where am I in this process right now? Am I gathering? Am I refining? Am I emerging? For in each step of the process is new unfolding. What's feeling like pressure may actually be transformation, bubbling up to be seen, to be witnessed, to be received. Thank you, thank you. I would love to hear, Kat, what you're feeling within you stirring at this moment. And then after, I'm happy to share a beautiful nectar invitation for everyone for this week.
Thank you, Sabrina, for your beautiful, wise words and for the transmission from the bees. It's as if they always know the field, the great intelligence that is life always knows exactly what is needed to be presenced, brought in into our awareness. So perfect, perfect timing as always. I think it will stir something different in every person listening, right? And the stir will be what I'm hearing is gentle because the bee medicine is very gentle. Like even the sting is not a wasp sting, it's not a scorpion sting, right? And I'm hearing allow this message to come in and to rest upon your skin, upon your field, upon your aura as this pollen that will gradually begin to penetrate your field and turn into an invitation to play with it. Because bees, when they make turn pollen into nectar, into honey, it's their work, but it can be approached from a more curious, playful experience, right? For me, the reminder that came through while I was listening to the transmission was it does not have to be like you being stretched and pulled. It doesn't have to feel that way. It can be gentle and it can be received by your nervous system, not as this obtrusive experience of going and digging in your subconscious and clearing and doing all the things, right? But truly as a devotional practice to yourself, to this journey that you're on. And that's what I was hearing is just be gentle. You are that flower. You are that, you get to decide what this experience is like.
Oh,
Soft, that's it. Softness. Softening to the experience itself.
yes. That is so beautiful and so true and so right. And what they were also wanting to add is you are that powerful to where you can choose to have a process or not have a process, right? It can be as drastic as that. It can be as simple as I declare this, and so it is, right? It doesn't have to be some long drawn out process. And so we invite you to play with that a little bit, right? Maybe take one experience that you are moving through in your life now and play with it as far as how you approach it, how you speak to it, how you choose to alchemize it, play with it. You can create a plan or not create a plan. You can just, as long as your heartfelt, truest intention is present, it's truly so powerful. So that is so beautiful. Thank you. Thank you, Kat. Thank you, consciousness of the bees and the hive.
The hive.
So this week, our beautiful nectar invitation and pollination practice, we invite you to choose one experience in your life, like I just mentioned, something either maybe emotional, maybe something that might be unresolved within you, something tugging on your energies, something that might be challenging, and then move through it in 4 simple steps if you'd like to. This is one example of one way you could move through this. Step 1 being to fully acknowledge it for what it is. Step 2, to feel it. Let it just feel it, no matter what feelings and emotions, right? Because emotion, we know, is just energy in motion. Allow that energy to move. Step 3, reflect on it, which could be journaling. It could just be sitting with it, feeling it moving through your heart, again, just recognizing those feelings. And then step 4, extracting the honey. What is the gift? What is the underlying message? What is this experience really, truly wanting to speak to you, to bring into your life? Why is this presenting, right? Because when we approach these things with curiosity, that vibration, that energy is playful, right? And I was reflecting the other day, this is dropping in, curiosity killed the cat, right? I always thought that was such a weird statement. I was like, what? You know? But now I think of it differently. I think of like, well, I think that saying is just to keep us from being curious, right? Because if we were curious, maybe we would find out too much, know too much, right? So I love being curious and approaching things with that and no judgment, right? Remember back to when we were kids, we were so much more curious and so much more innocent because we didn't have all that programming of like, this is wrong or this is bad and, all the things. So anyway, they're just bringing that in. So yeah, and then once you move through those steps or any number of those steps that you would like, you get to see what is the wisdom that you've now gathered from this. What that gift is. What is it that you have now refined? Because that you have now completed an alchemical process. And like Kat said, let it be gentle, right? This is not about forcing healing. We don't need to get attached to any expectation. It's truly about just allowing that transformation to happen naturally, right? And to know and to appreciate that we're not allowing anything to be wasted and that we know we are not broken, right? We're just in this consistent process of moving through life experience, flying from flower to flower, back into the hive, back within our hearts, and back out into the world, right? It's this beautiful, I'm seeing the figure 8, the lemniscate, the infinite journey, right? From nectar to honey to essence. Oh, I love that. Thank you. Thank you. And I am complete.
Thank you, Sabrina. Thank you. Thank you for the wisdom today and always, and for being a beautiful space holder within the Hive's live gatherings and the alchemy circles. And thank you for watching, for listening. And if you would like to join us live in the Hive, join our WhatsApp community and connect connect on live calls and come buzz with the rest of the hive, with like-minded women who are just magical, like you.
And like you, yay. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
We look forward to
Thank you.
welcoming
Thank you.
you.